hello.
Yay. That was crazy. I almost wanted to like record it for you because it was like it sounded like something from Star Wars.
Cool.
But I think it was there was like an update on my computer, so I like pushed update real quick, and I think it was my laptop. So
Oh, okay. Cool. I'm glad we figured it out. Yeah, it's one thing that I love that you just reminded me of is just like these anything that sounds kind of funky dealing with like recordings. I just love like sampling it. It just seems like so like I don't know if like a piece of audio gets like slowed down or distorted. It's like, oh, I want to make hip hop out of that kind of
yeah,
thing.
totally. Yeah, I always want to like. Did you? I actually watched an interview with Billie Eilish recently,
Yeah.
and apparently the Bad Guy, her like big song, like the beat behind it is a recording of like a meter on
Yeah.
like a crosswalk that she recorded,
Right.
and she like made it to that. I was like, dang, that's so cool.
Yeah, and then there's another one. I can't remember what it's called, but it's like one of like they use like a dentist drill, like a
Really?
yeah, for like it's like one of like the creepy songs.
That's so cool.
Heck yeah. So
So
many so many creative like ideas. Like do you like see things like that? Like do you think like, oh, like this could be used here kind of thing?
yeah, I kind of do. Actually, me and Jesse talk about a lot like albums.
Yeah.
So not so much noises, but like I feel like I always want to give that to somebody, be like, this sounds super cool, do something with it, because I don't really feel like I'm like super savvy in that area. But when it comes to like albums, like I think of like, I don't know, like the 1975 album, I'll like take it and think like, damn, like this could be such a cool show or
Mm.
like interactive like experience like with this music because it's telling so much. I don't know, stuff like that I get really into.
Heck yeah. Like that's beautiful. The interactive experience.
Yeah, like interactive experience, or even like honestly like a musical or like something super um like underground and like kind of edgy, or something that's just like really different than humans like experience, but it's done with music that they're um, used to. Like kind of like, I mean, obviously Cirque du Soleil's like, you know, people know what that is. But when I saw Love, the Beatles like tribute, have you ever heard of that? It's like,
No, love.
oh my gosh, it is so cool. So basically, it's this Cirque show, and they it's all to the Beatles music. Um, but like everything they perform and stuff is done to the Beatles music. So it has this whole different like set of meaning. It's so cool. You have to see it. It's
Wow.
still
Yeah,
happening.
that sounds tight. That's
Yeah.
so when you hear like a certain project like an album, you start seeing like choreography or like stage production like
Yeah. Yeah, I do. Like, and it kind of switches. Like sometimes it's choreography. Other times it's like a scene happening. Like that could be interpreted into a scene. But yeah, I usually see a lot of different like things happening on a stage or in the round or something like that.
cool
Like
in the round.
visual things happening, or even like lighting. Like I'll see like colors. Um,
Yeah,
so like I don't know. Like sometimes like different songs make me feel like purple or
right.
like orange or blue. I don't know. Um, and it's really interesting because I feel like depending on the genre, I'm feeling like different things. Like I was listening to like Penny and Sparrow recently,
Penny and
and it's very
Sparrow.
colorful for me. Whereas like other like music is like very like um, production based, and I see like different things happening within the music for like a show or choreography. So different things like that. Yeah.
That's so tight. Yeah, so let me ask you this. Like when you see these colors, do you see the colors like like dancing around or moving at all, or do you just like feel the colors? Like, do you feel the mood? Like, is there any like is there any movement?
Wow, yeah. I I guess it is more of a feeling.
Mm-hmm.
If yeah, but depending, they do move,
Mm-hmm.
if that makes any sense. Like,
Yeah.
I guess, like, sometimes it's just kind of this feeling of a specific color. Um, Sometimes it's like a warmth
Mm-hmm.
feeling, and it's kind of like seeing like a color behind my eyes. And then like other times it's like actually kind of like dancing colors.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think it really just kind of depends on the music.
I feel you. Yeah, I think like it depends on like what we're listening to, and also like the setting, like what our bodies are doing. Like I think maybe we'll like feel different colors if like we're going on a walk and listening to like headphones as opposed to just like I don't know, like laying in bed listening to music. And it,
Yeah.
yeah, one thing that yeah, the yeah, this is tight. It's cool. I didn't know how artistic your imagination was. Like,
Yeah, sometimes it's kind of interesting because that's like um I mean, like being like an actor, singer, like whatever. Like I always like imagine these things, but my brothers and like Plan Your Escape, and you guys are also musically inclined where you just kind of create it. Where it's like for me, I feel like I'm usually am using like an ensemble of people to create something, and so I feel like I want to challenge myself to do that more.
hmm,
Um,
to use an ensemble.
no, to like create more by myself.
Oh, heck yeah.
Yeah, because I really don't. I mean, I do a lot of like writing, like I write a lot of lyrics, but I
Oh,
don't
really?
actually, yeah, but I don't actually like put it into like format like of music.
Yeah.
I don't know why.
I
I
don't
maybe
know either.
my focus is in like kind of a different place, but yeah, I have like a journal full of lyrics that I've really never used. And I
Wow.
don't know if it's just more like an outlet or yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I feel you. That's
Yeah.
what kinds of stuff do you write about?
Uh oh gosh. Lots of stuff.
Yeah.
I'm looking at my I don't know, take it out. That's too much.
That's all
Um,
good.
um yeah, I don't know, just like experiences or personal relationships or sometimes I'll go off of like a specific like a mood that's happening
Yeah.
in that or something I'm experiencing and I feel like um I'm such a type of person where like um different parts of the day affect me. Like there's a specific point in the day where it's like I can actually really feel very melancholy, which can be a bummer, but also it's like that's kind of when my mind kind of starts to like wake up in a sense, and so like writing becomes easier. um I don't know why, but but yeah, sometimes like it kind of sparks within a mood that I'm in or something I'm feeling, and not really something that's necessarily happened to me, but then I kind of start writing on things that perhaps have happened to me or that I'm hopeful for. Yeah,
Straight
stuff like
up.
yeah.
That's that melancholy mood is definitely like super inspiring to like it just like we hear all these like certain songs that I don't know. It's really interesting how you're aware that that's when like your creativity you kind of like tap into your creativity a bit. I think like tapping into those certain kinds of moods is like one way, and then another one is also like either like right before we go to bed or like right after we wake up, like we're still in that dream state, so we're still like in that creative kind of mindset.
Oh, I have never thought of that.
Yeah, it's pretty trippy
Do
because
you like do you like is that when your mind kind of comes alive?
it's like
Or do you try to just use it?
I definitely like feel something different, like being up late at night. It's just like it's easier to kind of get into a flow. Like sometimes like it's not even my mind. It's just like kind of happening on the page or like happening like on the computer or like in the guitar. It's like kind of like how like if you dream or when you dream, we just create the landscape around us without really a lot of effort, but still like there's so much feeling and like it's super vivid.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that, but with whatever it is, like words or music. It's just kind of like happening.
Oh, God. Whoa, yeah, I've like never thought of that. That makes perfect sense. And I'm like actually like a super vivid dreamer.
Oh,
Like
really?
I think I dream almost every night. So I don't
Wow.
really remember what it is.
Okay.
Yeah, in fact my boyfriend was like, "You need to like write this down." And I was like, "Yeah,
Yeah.
I don't do that." But I've tried to like go back like when I have like certain dreams like during like stressful moments in my life, I try to like go like, "Okay, like what is that? What is that saying?" Or like how do I use that to understand me more or like what's happening, which has been really helpful. But I feel like writing it down would be that would probably be good.
Yeah, that's super insightful, Natalie. Like that you're like we have these certain messages for us in our dreams and like we can really understand ourselves by like interpreting them. And it's kind
Yeah,
of like they're like messages to ourselves or like messages from like God or the universe if you're open to that. And
yeah, totally.
straight up. Yeah, and then like just like writing them down is pretty fun too because once you start like recording your dreams, then all of a sudden it's just kind of like you start remembering more and more. And then you start to realize like, oh, these are really interesting patterns that I see in my dreams. Like this is a repeating symbol. And then
Yeah,
yeah, just like things like that. But
it's funny. I was thinking about there's like a it is so weird. There's a very specific dream that I have had like probably 5 times in
okay.
my lifetime.
Yeah.
And okay, like long story short, this is basically what it
No,
is.
tell the long story.
Okay. So basically, basically, I used to live in Fillmore, and we rented on this like ranch, which I'm sure you've heard about, my brother. Um, yeah, it was like this avocado orchard ranch. Tiny little like house that we lived in, but awesome to like grow up there. Um, and I don't know what happened to me as a kid. Something about like I was very fascinated with aliens,
Mm,
but also it terrified me. And I just like, me and my dad and my sister, we used to go out for like walks in like these orchards, and we'd be like looking up, and my dad was like, my dad like loves like space, like very, so we just talking about stuff like that. And I think that's where it kind of like my mind started to open up about these ideas. And I had this dream. I remember the first time I had it, I like couldn't wake up from it. It just kind of continued. I didn't, and for some reason in my mind, I was like, I'm dreaming right now, but I don't know how to get out of this. And it was basically me, nobody was home, and I was walking around the property and my house, and there were just like aliens just like showing up and then like following me, and they weren't like green, like they were kind of like more like signs, like they look like humans but they're different.
hmm
um yeah, and they would like follow me like everywhere, or I would think I'm like safe and I'd look around the corner and I just went staring at me, and it was terrifying. And maybe honestly, now that I'm thinking about it, maybe they were kind and maybe I was the one that was doing, I don't know.
hmm.
That's an interesting thing. I just kind of thought of that. But I had this same dream 5 times, different like areas of my life.
Uh-huh.
And it was in the same place, the same like house that I grew up in. Um and yeah, I just couldn't wake up from it. I remember like being in my dream going, gosh, wake up, wake up, wake up. And like, and then all of a sudden, like I'd wake up in the morning, I'd be like, I was so difficult to wake up from. But
Dang.
yeah, and that specific dream is the most vivid dream I've ever had. And I haven't had it in probably like, I think the last time I had it was maybe like 4 years ago. But I don't
Yeah.
know.
Yeah, that's trippy. Like just
Yeah.
the fact that it's repeated so often and with like different parts of your life. So like different just like different like eras of your life it's popped up.
Yeah, like when I was really young, it happened probably, gosh, I think I might have been 12 when I first had it.
Yeah.
And then skip a couple years, I'm, um, 15. And then skip a couple years. It kind of just worked like it was very different places of my life where
Hmm.
I was having this. I think the last time I had it was when I was at school, a PCPA, and
Hmm.
I think that was about the last time I had it. Yeah.
Dang. So you just reminded me that like I was also very fascinated and also very terrified of aliens at a young age.
I don't know why, like, and the idea, I think it's like movies. It's got to be movies or stories or something. The idea of something coming to Earth. I don't know. Weird.
Yeah, I actually had a dream about an alien recently. I was I was I had a like a baby in my arms and it was wrapped up in a blanket. But just it didn't feel like a human baby. Like it felt like ET, like I was holding a little ET and
How weird.
so like I didn't actually see it, but it just like the way that like the body felt and just like I don't know, like the skin like through the blanket, it was trippy. And so I remember I put it down like on my couch and it was that was it. So it was just it was really it was very bizarre.
Oh yeah, that's weird.
Yeah, and I think there's like a lot of meaning behind it.
Is
Like,
there was
what's
it
up?
a relative baby or just somebody else's baby?
I don't know if it was. I think it was like an alien baby. Like it wasn't mine, and it
Yeah.
wasn't like anybody that I maybe knew.
Yeah.
Yeah, I laughed because I was like, so I have this thing right here. Watch, I have this like alien,
It's awesome.
this alien thing. It says "believe" on the bottom, and there's a Jesus
Jesus.
quote next to it from Mark 9:23. And
That's awesome.
yeah, and so I used to have this like actually pasted on the back of this, and it used to like hang like right here, like behind on one of these panels. And
Oh,
this was actually like hidden by a bunch of equipment. And so I think my dream was telling me like, oh hey, like just like put this in a different spot. Like don't let this be covered up by all this stuff, which was like the what the blankets represented. And then I remember just like laying on like my floor, just like looking at my room, and I just had that click, that aha moment. I'm like, oh my goodness, like I can actually like just like take this part off and like put it next to it instead of having it like behind it. And
wow.
yeah, just like real interesting symbolism like that.
That is so cool. Yeah, because it's now it has a totally different meaning to it. I mean, aside from like it being something that you've like discovered and experienced, but like just that like note like popping out, like that's just I don't know, it makes you think about things totally differently.
Straight up.
Yeah.
It's like, and then I laughed. I'm like, did was Jesus actually like an alien? Like, like I don't
You
know.
know, he could be. Or she. I don't know.
Or she.
Like
Yeah.
it's yeah. I something I think I did pick up from the stream that I had was
Yeah.
that like um the there's a certain part of like I don't these things looked scary, these aliens, so to speak, looked scary. But every time I go back and kind of reassess this dream, is that they're all coming to me, and in my dream I realized I was thinking this is bad, they're coming after me. But it's almost like I want to have that dream again so that I can experience what it's like to not be afraid of that.
Wow.
And it kind of made me think of like um there's I mean for everyone I'm sure, but for me like there's always like a part of me that I don't think people want to experience or want to see or hear about. and it almost makes me think like, oh, like I just wonder like if what that would be like if I just kind of like welcomed in these things walking towards me, because that's scary for me to show certain parts of me, or like, um, and I feel like I'm a pretty open book, but I think, you know, there's always something underneath that I'm hiding. So that has been something that I've been thinking about, or that I have thought about through the years, but I still haven't had that dream. So we'll see. And maybe that's all I needed to know.
Hmm.
I don't know. So,
That sounds like really profound.
but
And
yeah, I don't know. Discovering everything right now.
I think
Yeah.
like that part that you're talking about, that maybe you feel like you're hiding, or that people may not like embrace, that's called the shadow self. There's like just like the dark parts that we have, that that we don't really want to like show people. And yeah, that's pretty tight. It's like it sounds like you're integrating your shadow self, or like you're starting to embrace those, like those scary parts.
Yeah. Yeah. Learning to, I think, yeah, I think, I mean, I, I've grown up like with a very artistic like family and like life and like being, but I think, I've also grown up with anxiety, insane anxiety and depression, and so I
Hmm.
think those are a huge like side of me that is like very difficult, you know,
Yeah.
to be okay with or
Hmm.
show or use, um, in artistically and partner wise, family wise. Yeah, it's like it's a scary thing because it's like I don't want to. I think that's a part of it. I don't know what else is in there, but do you do tarot cards?
No, but on a
The
recent
only time
podcast.
That's the
What's
only
up?
time I've ever heard of shadow self is in like a tarot.
Oh, really? What did you hear about it?
Well, my friend was reading tarot cards and for somebody, and she flipped up shadow self, and I don't know why. That's when you said that, I was like, oh, interesting. So I just wondered.
Hmm.
That's the only time I've ever heard of that.
That's
That's
really interesting. Yeah, I know that like tarot cards, they're all certain archetypes that we all have like in our collective conscious. So like I don't know, there's like we have certain images that show up in our art, or in like our movies, or in our books. Like there's like a king and a queen, and there's like a jester, and then there's like a warrior, and then there's like death, and there's like the shadow. So I think like the tarot cards help us like hone into what these certain archetypes have, because like we have them all like within us. It's a it's like a Jungian concept, like a psychology, like a way to think about it, like the psychic part of us. But yeah, that's trippy. Like, yeah.
Yeah, I know. Interesting. Yeah.
Are you into tarot stuff?
Um, I find it really fascinating. My friend, she's very into it, and she did a reading for me. She's done a reading for me a couple times, which I find really, really just kind of like enlightening. Because
Oh,
at
really?
first, yeah, at first I was like, this is kind of weird, like kind of witchy, like I don't know. And then I learned more about it, and that really had nothing. But well, it was kind of like what you're saying, but I didn't know it had all these different parts of us. But yeah, it was just like kind of opening up my awareness to certain things, and then um, I found it really helpful actually.
Yeah, that's
I've
interesting.
never, yeah, I've seen other people do it, but I only kind of let a friend of mine do it because she's super in tune with it, and she doesn't really talk much. She just kind of goes like, what are you experiencing? Like, what are you feeling? Like, what does that mean to you? And she kind of lets me like figure it out rather than kind of projecting. Um, and then when she feels like the urge to, she kind of goes, this is what I think is like happening. Like, this is what I think is going to help you, kind of stuff like that. But so I found it really cool. and it's not all kind of like voodoo-y because people can get really kind of freaked out by that, which I was. And it's really actually beautiful. And like the art on these cards is actually more, I mean, rather than just like what it says, like, you know, like seeing what is happening on the cards is beautiful. Like has to, like, even if it's like an animal, like there's something kind of watching over you, or something like sometimes they're like, there was one where she was holding like a timer, and I was like, oh my gosh, like I'm so afraid of time. That's just weird. It's just like how things connect to you. And like I always feel like I'm running out of time, like I'm not, you know. So I was like, wow, that is so
Mm.
interesting that that's in my present. That was like my present card. So it's really kind of, it just kind of opens up your mind to think a little bit more clearly, I guess, in what you're going through. So yeah,
Yeah.
I think it's cool.
Yeah, that's pretty tight. I've never heard anybody explain it that way before.
Yeah, I feel like you'd like it. I
Yeah,
feel like Omar, I think you'd be into it. Yeah, I think it's super cool. It's super cool stuff. I don't know, uh, like I don't know like which decks are like good and which aren't. I don't know, but there's some really cool stuff. I really like angel cards too. Those are
angel
probably ones
cards.
that I would like buy for myself. Yeah, angel cards are super cool. They're like, um, you can get like different ones and you just kind of like lay them out, and then you choose like, you can do like up to three. You just pick one up that you like feel drawn towards, and it says like something that's like
Hmm.
to be aware of in your day, like
Yeah.
be like something as simple as flow. Like it'll say flow, and then I'll give you a little description, and then you get to like use that how you want to use it. Um, yeah,
So that's like angels giving us messages.
yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's there's a do you know who Sierra Boggess is?
No, I don't know Sierra Boggess.
Okay, she's a Broadway like actress,
Uh-huh.
and she does these angel cards. She actually made her own angel cards, and for every show, she draws one, and she now does it like on Instagram. I mean, obviously not while we're in quarantine, but when she's doing a show, she'll draw one, and she'll show like you on Instagram, and she's like, "This
Mm.
is what I got today," and they're super cool. Sometimes it's just like awareness or authenticity or presence. Um, just really like cool stuff like that. It's rad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that sounds pretty tight. Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
kind of I'm kind of sketched out about tarot cards, but I don't know, like the
No,
the
fair enough. They're I feel like once you do like a reading, or like you do, because it's not like, it's not portraying your future or your past. It's literally, and that's what I was like, I don't want to know about my future. And
Mm.
it's like, it's really, yeah, it's just an awareness type thing. But,
Yeah.
but I, you know, when you feel it, then you'll do it, but it's not like you have to.
Talking about angel messages, one thing that I'm like open to is the like seeing repeating numbers, and I feel like those are like messages from angels or like some sort of like divine messages. So like for example, like I don't know, one day I'll see like 333 three times in different places. So then it's like, okay, when I see that number, usually like I feel like I have to like pay attention to what I was just thinking on, or like something in my immediate area, or just like it gives me reassurance. It's like, okay, like I'm right where I'm supposed to be. Do you
Oh,
ever?
tight.
Yeah. Are you into numbers?
I do like numbers. Yeah. It's funny. Three is probably my favorite number.
Whoa.
Yeah. I don't know why, but yeah, I do like numbers. I don't think I've paid attention to them enough.
Mm. Yeah, it's trippy. Just kind of like, oh, another one is like seeing my birthday in different places. Like this, that mark 923 that I showed you next to the alien. That's actually my birthday. So
You're
like
23.
923. Yeah.
I'm
What
1023.
the heck? Hmm.
Yeah.
That's really trippy.
Yeah, that is true. Wait, what year were you born?
93.
Oh, that's cool. I'm 94.
Hmm. So the year and the month are one ahead of or one more than mine,
Yeah,
like number wise.
number one. Yeah,
That's kind of trippy.
yeah, that is trippy. Yeah. See, I like the number 23. I like the
Yeah.
number three, and I like the number 23, and I always notice that number. I'm like
Mm.
23, or like I'll be at the DMV, I'll be like number 23. I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like meant to be. I don't know.
Yeah. Yeah, seriously.
Yeah,
Like if anything, it just makes us feel good and grounds us in a positive state. Like
yeah, yeah, so, yeah.
yeah, that's really tight. And then the other thing is also is like, do you ever like experience synchronicities where just like two like unrelated things just happen together in the most interesting way?
Probably. Wait, explain an experience.
Yeah, let me think of one. Um, like I don't know, just like doing these like podcasts.
Uh-huh.
Like I'll be like talking with other like creative people, and then all of a sudden somebody will say like, "Oh, like this happened," and then like I want to do this, and then I'll be like, "Oh, like I can like I want to do this. Maybe we can like put them together," kind of thing. It's like, "Oh, like you have what I need, and you have what I need," or like you meet like that just the person or get connected to the person that's like, "Oh, this is like the next step of my journey." Or
Yes.
or I don't know, like you go to like the bookstore and you see like the perfect book that you were looking for that you didn't know you were looking for. So
Yeah,
like, I don't know, things like that. Does that ever happen to you?
absolutely. Yeah. I find that with I'm like I'm su- I'm super into like quotes.
Yeah.
I don't know why. I love them. Even like the cheesy ones, I just think they're really cool.
Yeah, extra cheesy,
Um,
extra cool.
yeah, I don't know. They're cool. So I'll do this thing sometimes where like, okay, I really like Pinterest.
Okay.
Whatever. I love Pinterest. Most of my Pinterest is like quotes by like some author or whatever. And so it started to pick up on the fact that I liked quotes. And so every time I open it, there's just quote, 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 quote. And I do this thing now where like if I really need like some reassurance or something, I'll just open it and like read the first quote that I see. And
Yeah.
sometimes it's like spot on what I need to hear.
It's like spooky sometimes.
Yeah. Yeah. But yeah, so sometimes yeah, with that and I feel like with people um like yeah, like okay, for instance,
Okay.
I was talking to my brother a couple years ago before we shot the Plan Your Escape video. And I was like, I don't know what, like somebody was like, you need to have something that's on film. And I was like, I do theater, like, you know, but I was like trying to bridge the gap between like film and stuff. And they were like, you need to have something that's like on film. It doesn't need to be a lot. You don't even need to be speaking, but just something that shows like a professional state of like, you know. And I was like, okay. Literally this same day, my brother goes, yeah, Plan Your Escape's going to shoot a video. And he was just like, are you down to like be in it? And I was like, yeah. But like it was so interesting. Literally within an hour,
Right.
hey, like we're gonna shoot a video. We're wondering if like you'd be down to do it. And I was like, yeah, I would. That would help me,
Wow.
and I could help you, and that'd be great.
That's
So
such a trip.
yeah,
That's beautiful. I think like how did that make you feel? Like
yeah, it um just like right, like
yeah.
I'm supposed to do this, you know, like okay, like that's something I'm supposed to do, like in experience, and I don't know, I'm supposed to like, and it has been like super super helpful actually, like because I like put together like different clips from the video that I can like send out, and it's been like really really helpful. So yeah, it just kind of felt right, like all of a sudden I'm like, well, this lined up like how it was supposed to. I was like,
Yeah.
yeah, like perfectly.
That's a beautiful thing. When stuff like that starts to happen, when things line up, I think that just means that we're in the flow,
Yeah.
like the way that like the flow between everybody's lives and like the flow of our universe. It's like we're just like in that perfect like groove, or like I don't know, maybe another way to think about it is like we're like improvising the dance, but we know what to do, kind of thing.
Yeah. Oh, I like that. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's tight.
Another small example that you just reminded me of is I used to have like these super old shoes that were all like tore up and stuff. And so I finally like got rid of them and just throw them away. And then an hour or two goes by, and then my dad comes and he's like, "Hey, do you want these like two pairs of shoes? Like I never really wore them." And I'm like, "Whoa!" Like, so like once you get rid of the old and make room for the new, then you allow like the new to flow in. So
Oh, yeah, that's cool.
yeah, there's little trippy things like that.
Yeah. And they're always so small, and you're just kind of like, okay, yeah,
Yeah,
that's awesome.
it's like mystical. Like
It's super mystical. They're magical. I don't know.
this is a pretty tight conversation. I didn't expect it to go here. Like,
Actually, I didn't either. Yeah, I did not either. I don't
uh,
know.
yeah,
I like how your brain works though, because I feel like we're similar in the
yeah.
sense of like really kind of responding and accepting like what God and like the universe is like sending, and I feel like I try to be more aware of that, of like where I'm at, or what I should be open to, or what I should let go of,
Mm.
and letting go is so difficult for me. Like,
Oh, really?
yeah, like if it's like something like specifically like people that aren't feeding like
Oh, yeah.
me, or just like are not right for me, but it's like I still want to hold on to that person because they've always been there, and like that's very like it's like ripping me. It's hard.
Mm.
um and but I noticed that like you know when I let not necessarily push that thing away, but give that thing space and let me you know not have it so much in my face, I can actually experience something else that I was supposed to, or I was supposed to receive,
Yeah.
um and yeah, so I try to be better at that. It always kind of comes in waves though. I feel like there are certain
Mm.
places in my life where I'm like, I'm really feeling this, like I'm feel good, feel like I'm flowing, like you were saying. And then there's other times where I'm like, I feel stuck, So, um, yeah, I think it's a cool awareness to have.
Yeah, definitely. That's a really good insight that like you have on yourself, is just like the fact that you notice like the ebb and the flow and how like certain seasons are different than others. And
Yeah,
then I think like one thing that has helped me let go of a lot of things is I I read this like Fung Shui book. I got like super into like the way that just like energy flows in an environment, and how that like the how do I put it? The reflection of your environment, or the your environment is a reflection of your internal. So just like for example, like if one is holding on to a lot of like I don't know, old CDs that you don't really listen to anymore, or there's just like some kind of attachment to it, then there's probably some kind of like emotional or mental attachment that is kind of just like taking up space. So yeah. So or like if your like desk is organized like externally, then it's you're internally organized in this certain area. So like
oh, wow.
yeah, it's pretty freaking awesome. So just like when I had that, and then as I say this, my computer is 88% at 1:11 p.m. So just like funny like repeating numbers. Anyways,
Dang.
so so I started to like just kind of go through all my stuff because I moved and I needed to just get rid of a lot of things anyway, so it was a good motivator as well.
Yeah.
And I started to feel like what emotions I had with each specific item. And like some of them like were so small, but they just had so much weight, like in my chest or like whatever wherever it was. So it was like a healing process to really like let go and kind of like I would write like what this item like meant to me or like the what it does for me right now and just kind of like weigh all those things. And yeah, that has been like super helpful. And now like it's kind of one of those things where it's just like keeps getting better and better. Like now I don't really have a lot of attachments to things. Like if something gets lost or like broken or anything like that, it's just kind of like, oh okay, like I can move on.
Yeah, that's okay. What's this book called? I can,
Oh dang, I don't know what it's called, but you can just look up feng shui. Feng shui. I think it's like FEUNG and then SHUI feng shui. I think that's it. It's like a I think it's like a Taoist concept.
okay, interesting. That is super rad.
Yeah,
Yeah, that is so interesting. I like really love that.
it's powerful.
Yeah, and yeah, it's interesting to think about too. Like, I mean, being like in kind of this this state of the world right now, and being in quarantine, and like I've got loads of siblings here. It's like, so there's a lot of energy in this house, and sometimes it's like, wow, there's so many people here and it is really quiet, and then other times it's like crazy loud. You know what I mean? It's just like it's kind of different every day depending on how people are handling
Mhm.
you know being in quarantine, or like, I finished that song, now what else do I do, like, um and I find well I find myself being really affected by different people's energy,
Mm.
um and I think, well, that's a great thing, and I think it's like a blessing and a curse. It's like, because I can pick up things really fast, like what's happening, even if I don't know, I can feel it.
Mhm.
um and But I don't know if I pay enough attention to like actually what's happening. I'm just like, oh, I feel that, moving on, and I wonder. So I like that idea of like paying attention to like perhaps somebody like you're living with, or like what's happening, just
Oh
like
yeah.
in the room, or like around me. Like, the news is one thing that I have to stay away from most of the time because
Oh cool.
anxiety. But yeah, I love that. That is super rad.
Yeah, that's also like really important. Just kind of taking that like mental and emotional inventory about like how people make you feel. Like like if we hang around somebody or talk to somebody and then afterwards just kind of feel like super drained or kind of down, it's like I started thinking like I probably should spend less time with this person or maybe just like not have them in my life. And then like also being open to like, oh dang, I feel like so freaking great. Like talking to Natalie right now. It's like, okay, I know like she's like has that good frequency, that good vibrations that like I'm allowing into my
Yeah,
awareness and to like have that impact on me or what'd you say? Like being sensitive to. So that's
yeah,
really cool.
yeah. All my like senses and awareness are like gonna be like crazy today, which is rad.
Just those spidey senses.
Yeah.
I I want to kind of start wrapping this up, but is there anything else you'd like to talk about or?
Oh gosh. No, I don't know. This has been super rad. I like
Uh,
it's so funny because I really didn't expect like a conversation to go like this. But what's funny is I feel like I was thinking about the other day.
hmm.
Do you remember when you spent New Year's Eve at our place?
Oh yeah.
And uh that was like the first. I mean, like, I've hung out with you like at concerts and stuff and like whatever, but that was the first time like we like really hung out. And I remember going I remember going, okay, Omar, I have like 3 different parties I could go to right now. and I like don't know if I have it in me to like do it. I don't know if I can do it. I was like, it's just like so much hype, like, and it's kind of stressing me out. And you were like, why don't you just like hang here with me and James?
Yeah.
Like, I guess I didn't really like put that into my options. And you were like, we're just gonna drink and play video games and maybe watch some music videos. And I was like, that sounds awesome. and then I stayed, and honestly, it's so funny. That is like one New Year's I have never forgotten. All that
Wow.
rest kind of like dwindled, but there was something about that night that was like super, like just super rad. Like we
Yeah.
were like talking about like uh just different like music and like what was happening. Like
Yeah, we're talking about like art. You
yeah,
freestyled
I
like
freestyled. Oh man, that's right. I rapped.
yeah, we were just like going back and forth, like spitting verses for a little bit,
Yeah.
and
Oh
then
yeah,
yeah,
and Naya was over for a bit too.
yeah, oh yeah, she rapped too.
That one too. Dang, that's funny. But yeah, I don't know why that memory like kind of shot back into me
That was
when you
good.
asked me to do this podcast. I was like, dang, like I need more Omar in my life, you know?
Good. Oh, that makes me feel amazing.
Seriously, you got the good vibes, man. You got the good
Thanks.
vibes.
You
Yeah,
too. It takes one to know one.
yeah, I think so. I think so.
I think like some that's definitely like a cherished memory that I have, and it's just like it seems so I don't know, it seemed like that night was kind of like enchanted. Like there was like I don't know if it's just like the vibes in the garage with like and all like the music and like creativity there, and also just like how fun it was. It was like it was a
Yeah,
different kind of fun that only happens like I don't know that you can't really like plan
yeah,
or I don't know.
yeah. Enchanted is really the right word. It's funny. I've talked to my brother about that night too, um, because I don't know. There was something about it. It was like where like again where you find like I'm supposed to be here. Like I'm supposed to like experience this moment. Like whatever it is, like I'm supposed to be here, and that's really how I felt that night. I was like, I'm supposed to be here with my brother and my friends, just chilling, and there's something like again that like a feeling and a memory that I've never forgotten. So
Wow.
super rad, yeah,
Heck yeah.
yeah,
That's a that's a beautiful note to end on.
yeah,
Thank you very much, Natalie.
yeah. Thank
I
you.
really appreciate you speaking. And is there anything you want to let the people know before we go?
Um, uh, just during this time, stay hopeful and listen to yourself. If you need to walk, go on a walk. If you need to lie down and do nothing, do so. Listen to yourself, It's all
Heck
good.
yeah. That's wisdom right there.
Yeah.
All right, Natalie. Thank
All
you.
right. Bye, Omar. Thank you.